so we are coming to you from Columbus State University in Columbus. We actually have one of the game studios located here in Columbus with us right now. So we're going to specifically talk about game dev in Columbus. So first of all, tell us about Pirate Pixel. And which one of you is a pirate and which one is a pixel?
I think we're both collectively pirate and pixel. But yeah, we went to CSU and then we started our Pirate Pixel game studio after a Xbox game camp. And currently we're working on a game where you go through museums and you steal artifacts and then sell them on the black market. And there's a little bit of a sci-fi twist that's integrated into it that we're currently working on.
But yeah, it's been like, sorry, I'm not really used to this. It's been, yeah, it's been really interesting to see like, not just like the game design and development aspect, but also like the business side of it too, like trying to actually create a company. We just got done with taxes. And they cut us a break this year, but yeah.
It helps when there's no income if you're trying to pay income.
Exactly, yeah. So they're like, hey, maybe we'll get some income next year.
Just move those losses forward.
So, yeah. So, but it's not just like the game development side, but like also, yeah, the business side. We're learning a lot.
And I'm Alex.
Michael. Yes.
All right, so you're in Columbus. We don't normally think it was a hotbed of game dev. We've got a number of Columbus studios out in the lobby here at CIMFest showing off their games. So obviously you came out of Columbus State University. So tell us how this program prepared you and why you're still in Columbus.
Well, I've always loved games my entire life. I didn't know I liked coding. I didn't know that I wanted to do any of that until one summer I was really bored and I got on Khan Academy and I did everything that they had on there for programming. And then I decided, okay, I want to switch my major from biology to computer science. And I just fell in love with it. And Dr. Abando specifically, the way he taught us to build games and everything really just resonated with me. So then afterwards, Michael and I were in the same course. We knew of each other, but didn't really know each other until we ended up doing a student board for Dean Kidder. At that point, as I mentioned, we ended up going through Xbox Game Camp. I reached out to him, said, hey, you want to be on a team for this? Let's just give it a try. It seems like a cool thing. Afterwards, we thought that we had something good, and we realized that in the Georgia area, especially Atlanta, but we also want to bring it back to our community, that game development is really starting to flourish, and we can be a part of the start of that.
It could be anywhere too. So that's you mentioned like why we're still in Columbus. Yeah, I mean game development can be anywhere, and we do have our connections up in Atlanta, and the great community up there. You know, Kennesaw. Georgia Tech, I mean, SCAD, like these are giant sort of pillars of like, at least on the educational side for game development. And yeah, so, but as far as like my story is, yeah, we met in our computer science course for games too. That's what we have at CSU here. That's sort of the, not the capstone, but that's where like you make a 3D game for the first time, you know, at least like in the course. So yeah, but I came to it sort of similarly. I had a choice, and I had a moment in time in my life where I was able to I was like, you know what, I'm not happy doing what I'm doing, so I'm gonna make video games. I need to do that. Like this is a point in my life that I have to make video games. So I came back to school, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done, ever. And I know you can relate to all the sleepless nights in front of the computer and just like not compiling things, and things are, yeah. So I mean, we're programmers, so yeah. But yeah, this is probably the best working relationship I've ever had in my life. So yeah, it's been a wild ride so far.
So we're going to get into the working relationship, but first tell us about the game you're working on, the name and what it's all about.
We haven't officially publicly announced a lot about the game.
Yeah, there you go. You're not getting none of the NDA stuff's getting revealed.
Yeah. But the basic loop is you will have to find a way to infiltrate a museum And throughout it, you'll find different artifacts or art that you can steal, where there will be one main piece that you're really after, the gold piece. And then you have to successfully get out of there whilst evading traps and security guards and anything like that. At that point, then you can go back and sell it on the black market, so then you can get better gadgets so that you can infiltrate better next time. And then throughout it, we will slowly start to develop clues to the story and how it relates to being in a science fiction style twist.
And a quick key for you out there. If you use classic art in your game, a lot of it's public domain, so you don't have to worry about AI generated. You put in, I did this with Merchant Prince and Machiavelli the Prince. So get that classic art that is in the public domain, put it in your game. No one can complain about AI use, and you've got some incredible art in your game. Okay, anything you wanted to say about the game before we talk about the relationship?
Yeah, so the game is, I mean, it's sort of spawned from that Xbox Game Camp. That's sort of where the idea of it, and we got so much good feedback. And you know, Xbox has their NDA and all that, so they sort of know a lot more about it. But yeah, we got to talk with Major Nelson, and he was like, he saw like a sort of a prototype of our game, and he was like, wow, that's really cool. And like, we talked for like 20-30 minutes straight just about gameplay. So we knew at that point that we had something really special. And the game it's constantly sort of like bringing out new and creative ideas with both of us. And like you mentioned, scope creep before the interview. Like, there's all this awesome, cool stuff, but like, that's one of the things that we've learned with game design is like having to rein things back in and like, oh, we'll have it for the sequel or something.
This is why the sequels, as opposed to movies where the sequels always suck, in games, the sequels are usually pretty good. I mean, as big a Civ player as I was, I love Civilization 2.
Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed 2 might be one of the best like sequels ever. Like, it literally, like, I mean, we can start talking about games all day, but yeah, sequels, they take what was good before and these ideas that are good. But yeah, so yeah, that's it.
So we're all looking forward to Urchins and Ink 2, Hiccup Interactive. All right, so let's talk about the relationship. We've had two solopreneurs come up here and talk, and now we've got a team that says it's the best working relationship. What makes it the best working relationship?
Well, it's great to have.
Makes it the best? I'd like to know.
It's great to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. In programming, there's the idea of a rubber duck.
I'm his rubber duck.
Sometimes
We're in Georgia, we call it
need
a
that.
Coke can. You just want to talk to a Coke can.
So there's that side of it. There's also just figuring things out. We don't know what we're doing. Nobody knows what we're doing, what they're doing when they start.
Oh, I'm gonna jump in for a second. So to that, like, not knowing what you're doing, sort of thing. Every time I watch one of these documentaries, like Fly on the Wall game development documentaries, like the two Valve ones that came out, amazing documentaries, and just knowing that they don't know what they're doing, it makes me feel so much better,
And think
And they
about
figured it out.
and then think about Gabe's background before Valve started. Holy cow, he'd already done so much.
Yeah, he worked at Microsoft for like
Yeah,
20
he was
years
on
or something.
he was on Windows.
So yeah, so you got these brilliant people that are trying to figure it out, and if they're like stumbling and having sort of issues and being doubtful, about sort of things, and finding the fun in the game and finding the game in the game is just like, it's very inspiring to see those sort of things. So especially for indie developers.
Yeah, so also as we develop more and we're learning about each other, we're also learning about what we want to focus on in the game. We're both programmers, so that kind of puts us at a disadvantage because we both can do the same thing. But now we're starting to realize I like to be on the back end more, but I also like to try to create art for it. He's been doing a lot of the front end and music development for it. So we're starting to realize what our strengths are. And it's not going to be that way for everybody, but so far we've been pretty lucky that we're just kind of able to continue to balance each other out, as opposed to conflict with each other.
Yeah, I think that one last thing for what I want to say about it is, so if I'm ever doubtful about something or I'm excited about something, I can tell Alex like right away. Like there's no filter and honest feedback from him, and he can depend on me for the same exact thing. That's very rare, to have that level of trust in someone. So yeah.
And I think it's fascinating that both Anatoly and Joe had been coders for other people before they started their game studios. They had worked corporate coding, and you guys have gone straight into the game studio as a team. So it might be a secret out there. I'm all in favor of solopreneurship, even though I'm part of a team. But getting some experience first is not a bad idea.
It's hard to get a job, so make one.
Hey, love that. I love that. Yeah, we should end on that. I had another question, but we'll end on that. If you don't have a job, make one. All right, thank you. Good luck to Pirate Pixel.
Thank you.